So give yourselves a woo. Woo! Oh, y'all are good. But you gotta get the hands going too. So, okay, will you do it again? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Woo!
So here we are. Good morning.
Hi,
Cathy. And it is early, 7:30 in the darn morning here in Las Vegas. I was telling Cathy I'll be in Kansas City in a couple of weeks. And then I'll be on at like 9:30. I won't hardly know what to do with myself.
And 9:30 is nice. And I will mention the weather. Today is, it was like 40 degrees when I got up this morning, and I thought, oh my gosh. And so yesterday was 80. So
wow.
Today is, over the weekend was 80. Yesterday was a little chilly, but it's just amazing. But I'm just like a kid in a candy store. When you first booked this event, it's like 3 more sleeps until I get to be with Delinda, 2 more sleeps until I get to be with Delinda, 1 more sleep until I get to be with Delinda. And here we are. So
here we are. Yes. And thank you so much for being here. And you're going to be leading out when we get started. And so just to alert everybody, so we're taking the next 4 weeks to do something a little bit different. I mean, we've been doing this now. We're in our 5th year, which I still can hardly believe that it's been that long. And Cathy has been here just about every week, could be exactly every week. So that is amazing. So yay. Thank you. That's so awesome. And it's just been such a fun time. It's amazing how time goes. And when I remember last year, when I started looking to say, well, like, how long have we been doing this show? I was so surprised. And so anyway, so we're just going to keep going on. But, every so often we decide that maybe we'll just change it up a little bit. And it sort of started last week when we were having our chat with Lisa and talking about priorities and stuff. And I made the comment like, it'd be nice just have you come on and do a little mini training. And then that sort of went to, well, maybe we should do a few weeks of mini training. So Cathy is on for this first week, and Miss Lisa will be doing valuation next week, which is the whole priority time management. Really, time management is such a misnomer, but that's what everybody knows it as. That's how they connect with what we're talking about. And then on the 8th is the fabulous Dr. Laura Christine, who will be talking to us about preparing for the future, which also just happens to be on Voter Day. Everybody get out and vote and then come watch the show, or whichever way you're going to do it. I'm going to do the show, and then I'm going to head straight to the polls. I don't want to vote early. I want to be there and vote on the day. I don't know. The vote counts the same, but I just like going and voting in person. And then the next week after that, I think it's the 15th, our neuroscience nerd, as she calls herself, Lynn Franklin, will be with us. And so anyway, it's going to be just great. And all of these ladies will be speakers at our Wow the World, as you see on the banner behind me. At this point, don't just save the date. It is now time to get your ticket. $50 will reserve your spot, and so that you can get the early bird pricing. And that ends on November 18th. So just giving y'all a heads up on what is coming. And there is the banner on the bottom so that you can go to it and find it right away. So Cathy, welcome. Before you start into your topic, just tell the ladies a little about yourself.
I am in the Kansas City area, Overland Park, Kansas, if you know where that is. And it's super fun to have Karen with us today, and definitely Dr. Laura and Mommy. I can't wait to see who that is when we go to Facebook, since they have not been identified yet. And so it's just fun. I have 2 kids and 4 grandkids, and life just gets better every single day. And I mean that with all my heart, because it's just a matter of everybody that is following me on our Doc and Queenie show, actually, they know that Monday is my favorite day of the week. And that makes most people go, what? But it really is. I can't wait to see what the week holds. I wake up and go, oh my gosh, what do I get to do this week? Who do I get to meet? Who do I get to bless with strategies or trainings or whatever that is on my Skype? I'm always afraid to look down at my calendar. Oh my gosh. But it's so fun. And that's kind of where the strategic piece came in when you were asking for topics. And I thought, I think I'm going to incorporate this into my little world here.
I love that. I remember, I don't have it happen much anymore where they call snow blindness when you look at your calendar. When I was in Mary Kay and just getting started, it's like, oh no, it's like snow blindness, blizzard here, nothing's on the calendar. Then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get myself together. And I know some of y'all, if, have had that happen. So I love it. Cathy is an excellent, excellent trainer. There are so many things that you do so well. So whether talk directly to you, so I just want the listeners and the ones watching to know that I've been watching you, Cathy, for whatever it's been, 5 or 6 years now. Just watching you, always learning and wanting to get better, and how you share your knowledge with everybody else. I mean, that is Cathy's forte. Not only is she brilliant, but she loves to share what she learns, and she does it in such a great way that those of us who haven't caught up to that particular learning makes it easy for us to begin to do it. And I, in particular, think of all the LinkedIn training that you've done. Those first couple, I still was kind of lost. It took me about 5 of them to finally get all the little pieces in order. But that's okay. I mean, the point is we all start wherever we are, and then you just grow from there. And you're so excellent at that. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So I'm going to be quiet for a while and just turn it right over to you. And thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. This is super fun. And again, it's back to that same thing, how we met. Apparently, strategic is part of my DNA because if you remember, Fun Fearless Female was on Meetup. So all of a sudden, of course, I like to network. I don't know if you knew that. And so I see this fantastic Fun Fearless Female Christian women's group, I think that's what you called it back then, popped up on my Meetup schedule. Would you like to attend? So of course I clicked on it and went, holy moly. And there were about 23 people registered to go, and I didn't know one of them. So being strategic, I instantly went, I got to find out what this is all about. So I walked into First Watch in Corporate Woods in Overland Park, Kansas. And there is Delinda Lane in all of her dynamic glory. And I was like, I'm hooked. Whatever she's doing, I'm in. So it was fantastic. But it was strategic. I went to an event where I knew no one. Strategic. And now the girls that were at that first event, seriously, I remember many of them. They're part of our Fun Fearless Female global community of Christian women. And we get to connect with them on your page. And by the way, I know that your page is well over 1,000 now, which I know was your goal for this year. And you achieved that, which I think is the super coolest thing in the whole world, which takes me to the strategic part. We're in the 4th quarter of 2022. How is that possible? Hey, Lisa. And so we're in this 4th quarter and people are either, let's think about this, either panicking. Oh my gosh, what do I do now? I didn't reach my goal yet, or I haven't accomplished my income goals or whatever they were running for this year. And now what are they doing? Panic.
Yeah.
Panic, my friends, is not strategic. And so I think in terms, a lot of people, when they go networking or have a business or whatever that looks like, let's just say for round numbers, you need to earn $1,200 a year. And again, just round numbers to keep it simple for my brain. So if there's 12 months in a year and you need to earn $1,200 a year for your household income, then how are you going to strategically figure out what you need to do every day, week, month? So I literally start with the end in mind, as many of us do. So I take my 12 months and my $1,200 goal, and that means I need to earn $100 a month. Strategy. Now, there's 5 weeks in some months, and I always figure those are bonuses. If I ever earn money in those months, it's like, boop, boop, time to go celebrate. But for the rest of those 4 weeks in the month, I need to earn $25 a month. So a week. So how many of my widgets and gadgets do I need to sell that week to earn my $25? Then $50, then $75, and then boom, I made my 100 for that month. Again, if there's a 5th week, bonus time. So I think those terms are a little bit scary for some people. But here we are in the 10th month of 2022. How did that happen? And now it's panic time. What do I do? Oh my gosh, to get my goal met for this dynamic fourth quarter. But for me, it's always strategy. And so set your goal, decide what you're going to do, how many groups will you attend, how many YouTube subscribers. Now, let's think about this for a second. Strategically, okay, I had not utilized my YouTube channel effectively yet because it's a learning curve. Much of it is. I always tell people in my classes, an expert at anything was once a beginner. An expert at anything was once a beginner. If you have a job, let's say you work in a bank, many of us know how to count money, but as soon as you walk into that bank, you don't know where to put your purse. You don't know the combination to where you need to go. You don't know which lane you're going to be directing. You don't know which office is yours. You don't even know where the bathroom is. So the expert at anything was once a beginner. Do you remember that first day of school? Do you remember that first day on the new job? You hadn't met your bosses yet. You are the boss. You hadn't met your coworkers yet. It's all strategy. And for some people, it's a constant chaos, panic. What would have happened if certain people who shall remain nameless feel like we control anything? Are you kidding me? And I have found that we are in control of absolutely nothing except our response and possibly our reaction, because we can temper those. So all of a sudden, I don't know if you knew this, Delinda, but we had a pandemic a couple of years ago, and some people still feel that we're in the throes of that. So all of a sudden, we had to learn to punt and pivot. So strategically, I added hashtag punt and pivot to many of my posts on my social media platforms. Once again, strategy. Now, one thing I wanted to share is it's almost winter time, like we're in the fall, so it's going to be winter before we know it, as fast as everything has gone. And I wrote down just a little tip about closet cleaning. What does that have to do with strategic? As soon as you decide, I'm going to clean this closet or this messy drawer or my china cabinet or whatever you're going to decide to clean out, what happens? You get into this closet and all of a sudden you see something, I forgot that was there. So then you decide you're going to go put it somewhere different. And when you go put it somewhere different, first of all, you're going to lose it. Trust me. But second of all, when you go put it somewhere different, you're going to open that drawer or closet and go, that's cool. And you see what happened? The strategic piece of what you were doing to clean the closet stopped. So I have found, and I know, Delinda, you're a good example of writing things down with all of your notebooks. And every meeting I've ever seen you in, you are taking notes. And that probably is your follow-up procedure, because you check over those notes to decide who you want to meet with after having met some people on these calls. And so the next thing you know, what happened to that closet? You might have a pile for the thrift stores, donations. You might have a pile that you really need to address and get some of that figured out. But now, does your closet look terrific? What was your goal? What was the strategy? And how strategic were you in getting that accomplished? Did you get distracted? Did you lose your focus? Did you go on to something else? This is too big. I can't do this today, which is fine. It's not a beat up on yourself thing. Sometimes it's not the day. All of a sudden, you've got great intentions. This is not a good day to do this for me. What does that mean? Put it on the back burner. Think about it next week, next month, even next year. But now you know when you started, you need to get a plan to get that strategy accomplished. So everything happens. We have travesties in our lives. People get sick, different things like that. So even I, as much as I rely on my calendar for every split second, even I have had to punt and pivot. This day didn't work out the way I anticipated. So now I need to shift that topic or schedule to another day. Somebody cancels a training because their team is sick. Okay, punt and pivot. Now I need to change that and reschedule it for another day. For me, it's all about strategy. All about strategy. Now, I wrote down goals, focus, and things like that. Do you have a plan or a system? But then I wrote down distractions. Distractions. What does that have to do with strategic? If you write down your ABC list for today, A, I'm going to get this done. B, I need to get this done. C, I want to get this done. Strategy. And again, don't beat up on yourself if you don't get it accomplished, because hopefully for many of us, there's always tomorrow. Delinda, what do you think about strategic?
Oh, well, I love what you're saying about all that. And I think the distraction may be the biggest one of that, because so using your example of cleaning out the drawer or whatever, it is so easy to get distracted, and you find a picture maybe. Oh, remember this time? And sometimes you want to get on the phone. Oh, I just found a picture of us together, or you take a picture of the picture and send to somebody. Well, now all of a sudden that 10, 15 minutes is gone that you had allotted to that, or whatever your time is. So I think that's a big part of being strategic, because the distraction is what keeps you from staying on point. Yeah, the squirrel, as Karen says, follow the shiny object, whatever that might be. So I think that's a big one. And the flexibility to punt and pivot. I put it up on the board.
Yes, I saw that.
Because as you say, we live in life. I mean, life just happens, and that not beating up on yourself, but also keeping it in front of you, so that if it's in the I am going to list, maybe it happens later in the day, and maybe it does happen tomorrow if it's on that priority list. So yeah, great points. I'm with you on that for sure.
One of the things I love to talk about is social media. So whether it's your personality type and which social media strategy is your favorite or your best, I have seen that correlate. But the biggest thing for me is, how did 35 minutes go by already when I was on Facebook checking everybody's birthday? And all of a sudden I goes, oh my gosh, I can't afford 35 minutes today. This is not a good fit. So I have actually set a timer before. And the reason for that is, if I give myself 18 minutes, 15 is too small, 20 is too big. If I give myself 18 minutes on my timer to accomplish my postings for the day, week, month, if you've got them scheduled out strategically, then instantly when that timer goes off, I am disciplined enough to drive many people nuts, by the way, but I am disciplined, and I turn it off and I literally go somewhere else. Because by the time you do your YouTube recordings, your training videos, whatever you're doing for the day, if you all of a sudden get on a YouTube channel and say, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen, and click, 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 and do something over here, then all of a sudden, now what happened? Another 25 minutes has gone by, and what have you accomplished for today? So I'm very goal-driven, certainly. I'm very strategic in my planning. But the punt and pivot thing, once again, it's not like we can cause things to get accomplished. It is our goal, our strategy, our focus, but things do happen. And the punt and pivot piece is very strategic to be able to get your goals accomplished without worrying about the scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh
I love your 18-minute thing. I read a book just here in the last couple of months by a guy here in town. He's a pretty famous speaker, has won the National Speaker Association things and all of that stuff. And his book is called 17 Minutes to a Dream. And he talks about that exact same thing. Set your clock. So it says, whether it's you need to do something, walk towards your dream, set your timer. If whatever it is in and it'll be funny, because when Lisa comes on next week, she'll be talking about some of these items as well, because it all correlates. It's how we work our life. But, whether it's 17 minutes, 18 minutes, or 19 minutes, 20 does sound too long. I don't know what it is, why that would make that much difference. But and it's being, as you say, very strategic. I want to work on, I hadn't thought about doing a timer for social media, but that really is a great idea. Give yourself whatever that's going to be, because that is an area where an hour later, it's like, oh my gosh, where did the time go? But I think too, being strategic in the things that are important to you, so whether it's your spiritual life, if you're not doing any, at a retreat I did just a couple of weeks ago, one of the ladies raised her hand. She said, well, what do you suggest if we really don't have that spiritual piece in there? We don't really consistently read our Bible. And I said, well, let's take the same 17-minute rule. Maybe you need to start with 5 and that's okay. But then, if you thought about doing 17-minute increments, imagine really how much you could get done. Because I'm convinced the reason we don't get as much done as we want is because we're not strategic about it. We don't even look to say, oh, yes, well, I do want to do 17 minutes of reading my Bible in focus, and I want 17 minutes to walk around the block 2 times, or 17 minutes to work on this next thing I need to learn about. So I think the strategic is so important, but the biggest piece that could be missing is the fact we don't even know what we want to be strategic about.
That's true. And that's definitely, with you being a confidence coach, that definitely is when many of us definitely need your services. So I get that. You'll be surprised to know that the reason I don't pick 17 minutes is because it's a prime number. If I pick 18, I can divide it in 6-minute intervals. So once again, you see what I mean? The strategic piece is just wrapped in my DNA, and it needs to be divisible or whatever that deal is. And just like you were mentioning about reading the Bible, for me, that is random kind of words. But if I'm in a Bible study, then I am strategically required to be into that Bible study every single morning, every single week, if it's a live Zoom Bible study, whatever that looks like. And so rather than just say you need to read your Bible today, that book's going to sit there and something's going to come up that you can't or just can't focus on it. But if it's a Bible study, there's several apps now. It's just a fantastic system. And even the app says, would you like us to schedule this on your calendar for you? Ooh. So that you can actually put your study in every day. So now you've got a 21-day study, you've got a 3-day study, you've got an 8-day study, whatever that looks like. And that is your daily start to your day. And then it says, would you like us to add this to your calendar?
That's great.
I personally don't add it to my calendar, and I bet you're going to love the reason. With my schedule strategically put out there, as far as the timing of my different meetings and things, if I had the Bible study scheduled, which needed to be consistent as far as the app is concerned, and one of my meetings starts when the Bible study starts on my calendar, then that's not going to work. And already I set myself up for failure because I missed it. But if I know I'm going to go in every day, I can determine strategically when I'm going to get that Bible study accomplished.
So it could be a little on the control word.
I don't understand that word, but hopefully you and your dynamic team of speakers will be able to help us learn that word.
Oh, I love it. That is great. And that's true too. I think, and that would be a subject probably for a whole morning, would be about the fact of how we often set ourselves up for failure, often without even thinking about it. We just kind of set ourselves up for that. Whereas if we would be more strategic in it, we'd be setting ourselves up to have more positive moments. And I think it makes a big difference, just how we, like say, if you're trying in your calendar and putting something there that's always going to have a conflict because somebody's always going to book an appointment on your calendar during that time, that's not going to work. So finding those times where you don't hold appointments or whatever it is. And I agree too. I think that was a great point that you made about just, I kind of do it. I've done it both ways. Like sometimes I'll just get up like this week, for whatever the reason, I just really wanted to read the book of Hebrews. It'd been a long time since I've read that book. And it's such a story of faith about Abraham and all of our heroes of the Bible. And then how faith, that we have that same faith that we have the Holy Spirit. Anyway, I just felt that's what I wanted to read this week. But most of the time I am in some type of a study. The church where we're going to right now it's a book called 52, and it's like every week, there's a study in a different part of the Bible. So it does help you keep focus and makes it more strategic to where you can, whatever time of the day you want to do it. And it's set up to be 15 to 18 minutes a day or something. So I think it is often easier and helps you be more focused. So I love that point.
I am going to mention something that may cause your listeners to pop off. So don't panic. But even with my Christmas decorations, Chevy Chase calls me for instruction. Even for my Christmas decorations, and this is basically pre-pandemic actually, but I had a lot of people over here all the time during the week kind of thing to get water. Back in the day, I offered a 2-week free trial of Kangen water before they bought their machines. So during the holidays, I can't have my house torn up while I've got water fetchers, as I affectionately call them, coming over and having anything out of order, because that would mess me up strategically. So I have my Christmas stuff organized by section, which means mantle 1, take it down in the box, in the shelf, in the basement. And then over here, this tree, that tree, all my different millions of trees, that kind of stuff strategically. So I bring up one box, set that up, box goes downstairs. If nobody's still coming tomorrow, one box, put it up there and go. And so that's why I never had the house severely torn up during any of the water fetcher stuff, even during the holidays. And same thing for outside. I have it organized by 3rd car garage, over here tree, this tree, section something, because that way if they're coming over, there will be decorations on whatever part they're walking up to, but not necessarily the rest of the front yard. So yeah, strategic is definitely my word. And as soon as you said, what would you like to speak on? I didn't even have to guess.
I love that. That may be a little above and beyond what most people do when it comes to their Christmas decorations.
I had a feeling.
But I think it's a brilliant idea. I just don't know that I could follow through on that. Because I do mine in 2 days and then it's done. I mean,
oh my gosh. I don't have the first mantle done.
Empty them, take them back out to the garage. Nobody comes to my house on those 2 days, so. But I know that, but I think I think it's very, very, because then it doesn't feel like such a pressure. Because I will say, when I do it in my 2 days, it is kind of a pressure point to try to get it all done, because I can't stand all the boxes just in the room. So they have to get out, so one box at a time goes back out to the garage, whatever. So, that is so funny. That'd be a great question to ask. I should do that in Fun Fearless. How do you organize your Christmas decorating? Oh gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm going to have to think about that. Then maybe I'll flex and do a little of both. I mean, I could do certain things, like the tree in one day. And, if I wanted to take the whole month, my mother starts even before Halloween, and her house just explodes about Christmas. It is fabulous. By the time Christmas comes, she's got, there's Christmas in every nook and cranny. So anyway.
I get to see Mimi and Henry right now. Hi, Mimi. And so I know that's Alicia.
Yeah, that is Alicia. Alicia, your name's not showing up today. Hi, Henry. Yeah.
That's darling.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are at the top of the hour. It's like, Cathy, this has been great. Thank you so much. I mean, lots of big things to think about. So if you are watching right now, and even if you're watching later today and you want to put a comment in the box, just give us a comment of what you thought really stood out to you. If there was one comment or a thought that Cathy shared that you're going to try to take to heart and think about, and maybe look at your life or your schedule or your business, whichever part, in a more strategic way. I want to be very strategic in remembering to remind all of you to get out of the Zoom screen and come to Las Vegas. It is time, y'all. It is just time. There is something magical that happens when we get together live and in person. I've been back holding live lunches now for months, actually this whole year, and not just my own that I go to for Fun Fearless, but others as well in town. And it is something that has been a missing piece. We've been through the whole punt and pivot through the what was the COVID time, and it's not there now. And even though there are those out there who still want you to be afraid, and they want you to feel like, well, maybe there's some other thing that's going to grab you. You know what? Nothing's going to grab you unless God says so. But God's got this. He is the one that ultimately is control. No matter what we think, He's the one. Hallelujah! I'm so glad He is. But don't let the fear hold you back. And so once a month I hold a live luncheon here in Vegas, and then I'm coming to Kansas City in November. So I'm anxious to see my Henry and Alicia and the other kids when I come into town, but holding a live lunch there. So that is all posted in the Fun Fearless site. So I'm not sure which site you might be watching, but it is there. And if you have a question or whatever about it, just send me a personal message, a message on Facebook, and I can send you the information about that. We do have a few spots left. It's a max of 22. So again, where you go, when we find a spot, there's, they say there's only 22 chairs. So that's all we can have. So if you're still interested or are interested, then send a message out to me and we will get you signed up for that. And then just like I said, let's come to Las Vegas. It will be a growing learning time. I never want you to ever believe that it would be something that would be a waste of time. But when you can build relationships, when you can connect heart to heart with other women, like-minded, this is a Christian networking event and experience, when you can grow and share and just spend some quality time with people that you don't normally see, that is great value. And the speakers that we have, and you're going to be hearing from each of them over these next couple of weeks, Cathy being our first to lead out on that. And I think it will benefit you so much that you will walk away saying, man, I needed this as this kickoff to the year. It's February 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So it's really going to get your year in a good place. You can get those ideas and those thoughts that will put you where you want to be for your year as you're strategically planning your 2023 year. So, Cathy, last thought that you want to leave with our group this morning.
Well, my friend, first of all, thank you again for having me on your show today. But I have a question for you. Was it strategic that you chose November 22nd, 2/2, and there are 22 spots at your luncheon location?
Oh. I missed that one. I got the 22 of 22, but I did not connect the 22 reservations. Wow, that's cool.
Strategic.
That's great. That is great. So we really want to see all of you. Cathy will be there, so we'll be there greeting you and hugging you. And if you don't want to be hugged, that's okay. You can just do a whatever and stand back, and that's okay. We're not judging, but we're going to be ready to give you hugs if you want to hug. So, and then this week on Thursday, I see the Las Vegas gals. Today would be about your last day to make your reservation because it is on Thursday. I have to call in the reservation. So, remember, everybody, I'm going to go right into my closing statement, and I want you to think about all the things that Cathy has said to you today. I mean, it's just some great points on how we can be more effective, more intentional, because it's important. All of us have things that you want to get done, and time is our asset. I mean, that's what we have that we actually can control, how we decide to use it and how strategic you want to be. So remember that life is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. So choose to be strategic as you're setting up your life and as you're walking through. And it's okay if you don't hit every one on the when you have it planned. But the fact that you have it there increases your chances so much more. So by being strategic, you will feel more of that accomplishment in your life. I know it's true. And so when you watch Cathy, look at all she does. And the way she does it is by being totally strategic about it. So thank you again, Cathy. You're awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's a man out there, Henry, thank y'all for being here. I so appreciate it. Your time is so valuable and you could be so many other places. So love you all. See you next week. And thank you so much. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye now.